Hi everybody and welcome to Heel Heat. My name is George Coles and on this episode we're going to review WWE Wrestlemania 38 night number 2. Jumping right into it, we get a feel-good moment. We get Triple H coming to the ring, leaving his boots in the ring. I thought it was cool. I'm a big Triple H fan, so I enjoyed that he got to do that, got to get a send-off at WrestleMania. Then we get, they show Gable Steveson sitting in the crowd, which leads into something that happens later. Thought it was awesome that they opened like this. And before we get into grading the matches, if this is the first time you've watched us here, or watched my show here, we grade everything on a 1 to 5 scale. 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. Anyway, rolling right on as WrestleMania rolls on. We have, I know there's some... I'm having a lot of lighting issues, I'm sorry. I got a little distracted. First match of the evening, we have RK Bro versus the Street Profits versus Alpha Academy. I thought this was a solid opener. I thought it was a really good match. I really enjoyed the 2 RKOs, the one off the top from Riddle, and the other with Randy catching Gable into the RKO. Thought they were awesome. This is a good way to start the show. Very entertaining. RK Bro picks up the win here. And as I'm going through, if you watched a couple days ago, I also did a prediction, so I'm going to let you know which ones I got right and wrong as well. I'm giving this a 4. I thought it was a really solid opener, and I picked this one correct, so I'm sitting at 1-0 for the night. Now, coming off of that, we got Bobby Lashley versus Omos. I thought this was solid. I'm a fan of Omos. I think he's got something there. I really think he's going to be a big star. Kind of in the vein of the Big Show, if they do him properly. I thought this was a good match. Bobby Lashley, very talented wrestler. He's been for a very long time. Thought this was a solid match. Surprising to me, Lashley picked up the win here. I'm going to give this one a 3. I picked that one wrong because I picked Omos to win. So I'm 1-1 for the night, but it was a good match. I thought it was decent. For where Omos is in his career, and I hate to say it this way, but the limited things he showed us, this is about what we could expect right now. Now, maybe come next WrestleMania, maybe he'll be even better and we could get a better actual match out of him. But this was good. I enjoyed it. Now, coming off of that, we get the Jackass match. Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn. And this was awesome. I really enjoyed this. I thought, if you're a wrestling purist, if you're a Jim Cornette or among that ilk, you're going to absolutely hate this match. This was like a live-action episode of Jackass. We had everybody get involved, from Dark Shark and Jasper Dolphin. Wee Man came from outside. Chris Pontius as Party Boy, which is just amazing. We got to see... Who would have thought that you would see Party Boy on WrestleMania? Who would have thought you'd seen Wee Man? Wee Man hit a body slam that was just awesome. There was a whole lot of gimmickry, rat traps, the kick, the boot. If you haven't seen Jackass Forever, they brought the boot that they use in there to kick Sammy in the nether regions. This was just awesome. I enjoyed it. I'm a fan of Jackass, so I enjoyed Jackass playing out live for us. I did pick this one right. I picked that Knoxville would win. I figured the Jackass crew would get involved once they said it was a no disqualification. I'm going to give this one a 4. It's not a great wrestling match, but it's a fun live episode of Jackass. So I'm sitting at two predictions right, 1 wrong. Thought it was entertaining for me. Now, next up, we have the Women's Tag Team Championship match. Queen Zelina and Carmella versus Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan versus Natalya and Shayna Baszler versus Sasha Banks and Naomi. And I enjoyed this match. I thought it was good. I thought it was solid, a nice way to put this many 8 women onto the show. and kind of highlight them. You got some of your better women's wrestlers. A little bit surprised here as to the winners. Not that they don't deserve it, because they're both great, but I would have thought that they kept them separate for people to face against the champions in the coming months. And Sasha Banks and Naomi pick up the win here. Like I said, I would have thought they kept them different. I was thinking they were going to go with Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan, but they didn't. A little bit surprised at the ending. Obviously, I picked this wrong, so I'm sitting at 2-2. I'm going to give the match itself a 4. I thought it was a good match. It was a fun match. Lots of action. Kept us entertained all the way through. Now, next up, we have Edge versus AJ Styles. And wow, that Edge entrance, other than the Bianca Belair entrance the night before, on night 1, I think this is definitely the best entrance of night 2. But it's my second favorite of the weekend. AJ Styles cut himself somehow on the entrance. I've seen different things. I think he hit the scenery. I think someone has a video that shows him walking into the stage, and he was bleeding before he even got in the ring. This was a really solid match. It felt a little bit paced, a little bit slow for what I expected of these two guys. Not that that's bad. They paced it differently. I thought it was good. The story being told was good. At the end, we see Damian Priest come out, which there have been rumors that Edge is going to get a faction. So maybe they're doing a new quasi-Brood faction. Edge picks up the win here. I'm giving this one a 4. I did pick this one correct, so now I'm sitting at 3-2 for the evening. Pretty good if you ask me, so far. But we'll see at the end how well I do. Next up, we have a match that I thought was supposed to be on night 1. We get Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston representing the New Day. Awesome that they wore Big E's style gear out there. That's a great touch. Going up against Sheamus and Ridge Holland. Okay, so this match to me, I didn't enjoy it. I like the gear. I like the guys involved. Sheamus I like. The New Day I like. I love the New Day. Ridge Holland I think is pretty decent. But this match just fell flat to me. It was quick. It felt rushed. It felt like, okay guys, we got 5 minutes. Go out there and do your thing. Hurry up so we can get to the next thing. Sheamus and Ridge Holland pick up the win here. Afterwards, we see Butch get involved. Butch, what a fucking terrible name. Sorry, normally I try not to curse, but it's just bad. But anyway, Sheamus and Ridge Holland pick up the win here. I got this pick wrong, so I'm sitting at 3-3. 3 right, 3 wrong for the evening. I'm giving the match a 2. I did not enjoy this. I thought this kind of felt like a bad match even for a Monday Night Raw. And I hate to say that because I love the New Day and I like Sheamus, and Ridge I think is a good quality wrestler. I think they all could have done better. With that being said, we've seen probably one of the better matches of the evening. Came up next, we get Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory. This was a solid match. Pat McAfee, kudos to you, my friend. Much like I said with Logan Paul on night 1, Pat went out of the way, and I like that they highlighted that he started training for wrestling back in 2018. So it is believable, and he's a terrific athlete. I mentioned this, I was texting my cousin who was also watching at the same time, that Pat is the most athletic punter I've ever seen. If you remember, there was a lot of video of Pat back in his punting days tackling people on the punt returns. But anywho, I digress. Getting off the subject here. I thought this was a solid match. The superplex from Pat McAfee. Everything they did here I thought was really good. Pat picks up the win with a surprise roll-up. He starts celebrating. And, the one thing I forgot to mention. I was really shocked. This is the biggest shocker of the night to me. They somehow licensed, I don't know if it was just for one use, but they got Seven Nation Army by the White Stripes for Pat's entrance, which is an awesome song. It's awesome. It made this feel really special for him and for us that are watching. After the match, and I got this picked wrong. I thought Austin Theory was going to win, so I'm at 3 and 4. I'm giving the match itself a 4, because everything after I'm going to put into a different thing, and you'll see here why in a second if you haven't watched the show. Afterwards, we see Pat McAfee and Vince McMahon jawing back and forth with each other. Kind of interesting. The old man takes off his jacket, gets up in the ring. We get a match with Pat McAfee and Vince McMahon, and what the hell? Again, I would not have expected that. This was not hyped. There was a rumor going out back a couple months ago that Dave Meltzer put out that Pat McAfee and Vince McMahon would have a match on WrestleMania. I guess his inside sources were right, because they definitely did. This was fun. Vince McMahon picks up the win here, which we see him celebrating. Vince starts, he kind of telegraphs it, because he starts looking at the entryway before the music hits, and Stone Cold's music hits, and we get the classic confrontation. Stone Cold Steve Austin and Vince McMahon, and 25 years later, it still works just like it worked back then. These two are still just as magnetic. When you put them in the ring together, Stone Cold has that, like I said it last night on last night's review, Stone Cold has something that very few people have ever had. I'm talking less than 5 people in the wrestling business and in the history have had that it factor and that ability to connect like he has. Vince McMahon has the worst stunner sell I've ever seen. I don't know if he was slipping or it was a rib on Austin, but he kind of, when Austin kicks him in the stomach, he kind of slips back into the ropes. He grabs him for the stunner, and Vince it was terrible. It was bad. I'm not going to say it wasn't. But awesome to see them two guys out there interacting with each other. Even with the badness, it still felt really special. We get Vince and Pat McAfee sharing beers together, and I'm thinking to myself, Pat, you say that you grew up a wrestling fan. You know what's happening. You know what's going to happen if you share a beer with Steve Austin. And boom, Pat McAfee gets stunned too. It's the feel-good moment of the evening. I didn't have a pick in this because it wasn't an announced match. I'm giving this a 5. I just thought it was awesome. It just felt really cool. To me, I enjoyed it a whole lot. And that leads us into our main event of the evening. Brock Lesnar, and I know that's terrible, versus Roman Reigns to unify the World Championship and Universal Championship. So, I had expectations going into this match. These two guys are both what I would call big game wrestlers, where they step up the most when it's a big game situation. I think this is their worst match that they've had with each other. I don't know if the hype of Austin and McMahon made me feel that way. I don't know if the night itself, there was couple letdowns during the night. It definitely, out of the 2 nights, this was the lesser night for me. Now, don't get me wrong, it was a good match, but for these two guys, they both had better, and they both had better against each other. Roman Reigns picks up the win in the match. I think it seemed that Brock Lesnar got hurt right before the spear to his back, and I might be wrong. I'm recording this pretty much as soon as the show was over, so I haven't been able to check and see if he did. If he did, that explains a lot, because it felt like it ended early as well. Roman picks up the win here. I'm giving the match a 3. I expected a little bit more. That puts me, I was correct when I picked this, so that puts me at 4 and 4 on the night. And overall, over both nights of WrestleMania, I got 8 right and 6 wrong, which is about where I thought I would be. WWE, if there is one thing I will say about them, for their premier live events, or pay-per-views as they're supposed to be called, they have a way of surprising me. So I usually get about 50-50 right. There's hardly any like definite 100% going in. Even the matches I got right, I was probably not 100% thinking on that. But anywho, over the 2 nights I give it an 8 and 6. I got 8 and 6, so I'll take that as a win. Overall, for this night of WrestleMania, it fell a little flat to me. I'm going to give it a 3. I thought night 1 was way better. It felt like WrestleMania night 1 was the pro wrestling night, and WrestleMania night 2 was the sports entertainment night. There are some things on here that I'm definitely going to go back and watch again. The Knoxville and Zayn match. Everything with Pat McAfee, Austin Theory, Vince McMahon, and Steve Austin I'm going to watch again. Edge and AJ I'm probably going to watch again to give it a second chance to see if it's just my reaction now and against my reaction then. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention Gable Steveson got involved with American Alpha after the match with Chad Gable, which is interesting. Gables versus each other. Forgot to mention that on here. But yeah, that was a little bit underwhelming, especially after how high night 1 was and how great that was. But overall, both nights of WrestleMania, I would still put this in the best combined WrestleMania over the last 5 or 6 years or so. Probably, and I feel like I might overrate it because it's one I attended live. But the one where where it was Undertaker versus Roman Reigns for the main event, and the Hardy Boys re-debuted in the ladder match at New Day were the hosts, is probably my favorite of the last couple of years. But to me, this holds right up with it. I'm interested to see, for the first time in a long time, I'm interested to see what's going to happen on Monday Night Raw. Perfectly honest, most weeks I record Monday Night Raw and kind of fast forward through until I see something that I want to watch the next day, and I feel like a lot of people have been doing that because WWE's product hasn't been great as of late. And I'm not a WWE hater, so don't take that as I'm doing it, but I am definitely going to watch Raw live tomorrow. First, we got Veer is finally coming, the biggest case of blue balls I've ever seen. Cody Rhodes will probably have a live microphone, so that'll be interesting. I'm interested to see where Damian Priest and Edge go. I'm interested with the fallout from this WrestleMania. With all that being said, give the night 2 a 3. Overall, probably a solid 4 between night 2 and 3. Or, I'm sorry, night 1 and 2. I almost said 3. God, don't give them any ideas, George. They'll probably do a 3-day WrestleMania. And much like everybody else, the main thing of this weekend, it wore me out. I'm very, very tired. Of course, WrestleMania isn't the only thing I watched all weekend, and I'm probably like a bunch of you guys have watched other wrestling stuff. I caught some stuff from Game Changer. I caught the Ring of Honor thing. Of course, there's Rampage. But anyway, getting in with all that, very enjoyable. If you made it this far, please hit the like button, share, subscribe if you haven't. Throw me something down here in the comments. Let me know what your favorite match was of the night. If you like night 2 better, if you like night 1 better. And if you watch this far, I know you're enjoying this, so at least throw me in the comments sports entertainment so I know that you watched all the way to the end. With that being said, my name is George Coles, and this is my review of WWE WrestleMania 38 Night 2.